So as soon as you click where it is, you'll start to see like this sort of it looks like sort of like this faded in Zealot or faded in Stalker or High Templar or whatever area. And the thing to remember is that while they're warping in, they can be attacked and they can take damage. So you kind of have to be careful where you do it. But you can warp in a ton of units to any of your bases. So if you have warp gates and you have a random base in an island base in the corner and someone like makes a drop there, you can warp in a whole round of your units right there to defend your base, and you'll never have to use a shuttle or anything along those lines. And I think this is part of what's going to make the Protoss race actually one of the most maneuverable, if not the most maneuverable. Even though Zergs are still the fastest, because of this warp gate, and also because of some of the abilities like on the Colossus and the Stalker, you're going to see a lot of Protoss players become very, very freewheeling. I think you're going to see them become very, very high mobility. You'll see units spawning in random places. It's going to become very, very difficult to gain a Protoss. And cliffs in particular are not an obstacle to a Protoss player at all anymore. Because of the blink ability on your Stalkers, you can warp your entire group of Stalkers, really, and just warp them right up a cliff, do some damage, and you can run away and warp them right back down, and it's going to be very, very difficult to defend against. And I think we're going to see what exactly people can come up with to defend against that, because in addition to the Stalkers, you also have the Colossus, which can just walk up cliffs, and that's going to be something that Terran and Zerg players, I think particularly Terran players are going to have to figure out how to defend against that, because you can't just defend at your front, you can't just defend at your wall, and you have to have more of a full base protection. And if you let just one Colossus get in, it can destroy your SCV or your drone line very, very quick. And someone's asking if warping in units have pathing while the 5 seconds of warping in. The pathing, I don't think there's actually any sort of an issue with the pathing. They just warp in and they are ready to go. They don't like start moving around or anything right when you're there. They actually you just choose the exact position to put them, and you can do it with the pylon, or you can do it with the warp pylon as well. And, yeah, that was definitely a very, very dominant strategy to use, is use the warp pylon, or just send out a probe and build a pylon, and just get an army out where no one's going to be expecting it.
Frank?
Yeah, I was actually just looking around, and there's not very many Terran questions, so I do want to ask you guys to start pumping out some of these Terran questions, because I haven't actually gotten one yet. There is one, though, that I do want to cover, the which Terran units can medics heal. One, there's not going to be any medics. The medics equivalent is the dropship equivalent as well, which is actually pretty cool, because imagine a drop in the back of a Zerg base. Let's say you're going medic marine or even a Protoss base, because medics is kind of... or I mean, Marines are kind of overpowered, or they're just good, I guess, against Protoss as well. So, which Terran units can medics heal? The dropships can heal anything that comes out of the barracks, and somebody said and the Reapers also. The Reapers also do come out of the barracks, so the dropships can heal, or they're called medevacs now. They can heal anything that comes out of the barracks. So it's pretty cool. If you go in for a drop, you can just leave those extra spots where you would put medics and just put more attacking units, and the dropship will do all the healing work for you. I think I saw another question in here about Terran, but no. So I'm sorry, it's about the multiple. Question. Okay, where is that?
1558.
Ask the question. For battlecruisers, this is by Resolute, for battlecruisers must each ability be researched, or only the weapons refit upgrade in order to produce cruisers with the different special abilities? I think he's asking about the battlecruisers upgrades, and I'm sure you can answer that.
Oh, I can definitely answer that. There is the one building. It's no longer an add-on to a science facility or anything like that, like a physics lab. It's just this one building, and you have to upgrade. You upgrade one ability for battlecruisers to on their own. So in their own unit, you go click on the unit and you select which upgrade you want to give them, but you have to upgrade the ability for them to go a certain path. And the abilities are Yamato Cannon, and I know there's an anti-air one, and there's another one that's essentially like a D-Matrix. It's like a personalized D-Matrix, so you can't have one battlecruiser that can do massive damage to air, Yamato, and D-Matrix at the same time. You can only do one per battlecruiser, which is, I actually personally think that's kind of... I don't know. I don't like it, to be completely honest. I think it's too selective. It's just it's really annoying. Actually, is what I want to say. Is it's just extremely annoying to have to say, okay, which battle cruiser is my anti-air one? Which one is my D-Matrix one? Which one do I send out front? Which one do I leave back to Yamato? Blah blah blah. It's extremely annoying. And actually, I kind of want to move this on, and I want to talk about the multiple building select, because I do have something to say about it. I want to do a kind of a lap around to see what you guys think about it, because I know what I have to say about it is kind of, it's going to go on for a little while. So I'm curious, what did you guys think about the multiple building select for your individual races as well?
Okay, I
Okay.
guess I'll go ahead and take this question first. Multiple building select for Zerg is extremely helpful, and there is two mindsets to this thing. It's one is you have MBS and automine. It lowers the skill ceiling and it lowers the amount of multitasking you need to do to make that gap between pro and casual players, pretty much. And there's a lot of validity. I can't even. My tongue's wrapped up. But yeah, there's a lot of validness to that. To that point. And there's a lot of point to the other side of the argument as well, is that by taking away these redundant clicks, you can focus more on the actual game at hand and focus more on strategy. And it's gone back and forth, and I'm just going to tell you guys how I feel about it. I'm pretty much neutral. I mean, at first I was definitely hardcore. No MBS, no auto mine. That stuff is going to ruin Starcraft 2. But when I actually played Starcraft 2, it's you get addicted to it when you have the ability to control 5 hatcheries. You just spam ZZZZ, U, MMMM, and out comes like 6 Zerglings, 6 Ultralists, and however many Mutalisks you clicked. And it's very intuitive, and it's very easy to use and get into. It's addicting. It really is. Coming from Brood War and having to hotkey every single one of your hatcheries individually, and then just having that ease of just pressing 4. You have all 5 hatcheries hotkeyed to 4, and you just spam buttons for all of your larvae. And then on top of that, you have the ability to mass select your entire army. Now, if you're a Zerg player in Brood War, it is extremely difficult to control a full Zerg army. You have to pretty much use your entire keyboard to control your entire army, and that's very hard to do as a D-ranked Zerg player or even a C-ranked Zerg player. It's very difficult to do, and in StarCraft 2, that there's a certain ease and a certain calmness when you can just select your entire army and just tell them to all A-move in. It is easier, I'm not going to lie, it is easier than Brood War. And it's really going to be up to Blizzard to whether they can implement more things to do that'll take up the macro side and more elements to control, so that the APM does not go down, and so that the multitasking, the skill required to play StarCraft 2 is not lower than Brood War, because certainly right now it is much easier to play the game, but I have to say it's a lot funner to play the game in its current incarnation. It's just so easy to use. And last thing I'll talk about is automine. I think we could do away with automine. I don't think automine is necessary. The worker automatically comes out of your Nexus hatchery or your command center, and it starts mining right away. And I think that this is something that we probably don't need. I think this is a little bit too much automation, because your workers, that's just something I'm used to, I guess. It's nostalgic to come back to your base and tell your worker to mine, and it's punishing to a casual player if they don't keep on top of that. If they don't tell your worker to mine, you're going to have idle workers. And now it's just you can just keep spamming your PPP for probes, and they automatically come out and start mining. So I don't know. I don't think that's necessary, and I think that might be crossing the boundary a little bit too much. And sorry, there is one more topic. I know Dejavu wants to get his wrap in, but the last thing I'll talk about is the automatic building queue. And this is actually only Terran specific, because what you can do now is have your SCV construct multiple supply depots or whatever building you want to do. And the thing, it's great now in StarCraft 2. The thing, how it works is when you build a supply depot, right when you tell it to construct at this certain location, it deducts your minerals right away. In Brood War, when your SCV was told to build something, your minerals were not deducted until the SCV reached the construction site and started building. In StarCraft 2 now, that's different. When you plant something down, automatically deducts your resources. And what you can do now in StarCraft 2 is build multiple supply depots in a queue, so you can basically place a supply depot at one location and continue placing it at like 5 different locations. So basically, as soon as you tell all those 5 supply depots to be planted down, 500 minerals are deducted. So your minerals are deducted if you use that